What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Again, I am Kyle with Limitless Power Sports Service and Repair. What I have here in front of us is a 1979 Kawasaki KE125. A friend of mine's neighbor has had this since, I believe, right at the end of 79-80, and it's only got 4,300 miles on it. She hasn't rode it a whole bunch, but when she did, she absolutely loved it. She got a hold of me and said she wanted this thing to be back on the road. I'm not sure exactly what EPA is when it comes to two-strokes on the road anymore. It may be grandfathered in. It's been so long since I had to put a two-stroke on the road. I don't know. So we'll just have to check into that after the fact. So here's what we've gone through so far. We've got new spark plugs on this. I got new fuel line, got a new air connector down here. I got those from a vintage Kawasaki place in Canada. The parts are, it does fire up and kind of runs for a little bit and shuts off. So I did go through and I did a leak down on the motor here, and it does have a leak down of 1 pound per minute, which is acceptable by industry standards, but it is very hard to start. So when I pressure tested it, when I leak down tested the motor on this, it would lose the pressure, and then I'd pump it back up, and then it'd hold pressure. So I put it all back together, I kick it, and the thing would fire right off. It'd run really, really well for about 2 minutes until it got hot, and then it shut back off. So I put it back up on the lift again, pressure, did a leak down test on the motor one more time. It leaked down for about 1 pound a minute, and then I pump it up again and hold pressure. So I'm like, okay, it's crankcase seals, because I can't hear it come out of the exhaust or the intake or anything like that, or any of that, around the plugs and stuff that I had. So I put it all back together, kicked it, fired it off again, and it ran for about 2 minutes and shut off. So what we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna throw a set of crankcase seals in this thing and check everything out while we're in there. I know the clutch was kind of stuck. It's been setting for, I couldn't tell you how many years, so we're gonna take that apart. We're gonna check out the seals on both sides, replace them. I have done timing on it with the magneto, and the points are brand new. The ignition coil is brand new. Fuel line, like I said, is brand new. The air connector is brand new. The carburetor looks phenomenal. It's been gone through multiple times just to check everything. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this, and we're going to knock out these crank seals, guys. All right, guys, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to make sure the ignition's off, and we're going to take the seat off by pulling these two tabs, lifting it up, and just disconnect the battery here. Pretty simple. Just a couple of little bullet connectors and stuff, so now the battery's disconnected. Then we're going to move on to draining the oil next. This transmission oil, we're going to drain that out because we're going to be exposing the clutch and all that. All right, so what we're going to do here, we got a little bolt right here, up underneath here. Maybe a little hard to see without the light right now. I apologize about that. But we're going to pop that out to 19 millimeter and drain the transmission oil. All right, so I'm going to lay out what kind of look like a cafeteria tray is exactly what these are. And I like to lay my parts out on these because it really helps keep things together. And then anything that's going to be greasy, which is nothing on this side of the motor, but the clutch and all that stuff, I got these nice little pans right here. I use these for oil also. I keep them pretty clean, but we'll set that on this side. So all we got to do here, guys, we're going to just take out all these number 3 Phillip heads around this, around the sprocket. Some of these are pretty stripped out, it looks like. I might have to get an impact driver to get that one out. And then we'll pull this cover and that cover off, exposing the rotor and magneto and stator and everything with the capacitor. That way we can get that out of the way and take a look at the crank seals. All right, so we got the side cases off here. Behind here is your automatic oiler to mix the gas and oil together. I have checked that. That is already preset perfectly. Now what we're going to grab here, we're going to grab our flywheel puller. We'll take our impact, pull this nut off here, pull the flywheel, pull the magneto, and that'll give us access to the crankcase seal. So what I have here, got a nice little set. I believe that was a 14 millimeter. I did not grab that, but let me grab that real quick. All right, and there is a washer on there too. Grab our little magnet, take that guy off. We'll set it over here with the rest of our stuff. Let's make sure we got the right. There we go. This one here is going to be your 27 millimeter by 1/0 thread pitch. It's an 18 millimeter head on this, and I believe it's a 27 millimeter wrench to hold it in place to pop this off. So we'll just tighten it up slowly, and there we go. It already popped off, already popped loose, and we'll pull that off. There we go. These rotors here, the way the magneto works, it has a little ramp in here, like a cam, that opens and closes that at a specific time. So I already, like I said, I already had this preset. Everything looked really, really good. Timing mark and everything while it was running. Timing was pretty much perfect. So now we're going to go ahead and pull these two 3 millimeter number 3 Phillips heads out. Set that over there on our tray. This way it's easy to keep track of all our parts here. There's that. And then that exposes our crankcase seal. And let's not lose our wood drift key here. That would be horrible to lose a half moon down into our oil pan from draining the oil. All right, guys, so on this one here, basically what I had to do, I had to go in and kind of get the metal on this seal to kind of come up so I could get a hold of it. That way I wouldn't mar up anything on the crankshaft here. So it just popped right out. Like I said, we'll just do it the same way we did the other one. Put a little grease around the outside. We'll set it on there, and then I'll just use this actually flywheel puller, what I have. Fits great over that. Same size as the seal. Puts a nice fat lip on it and plenty of clearance on the crank, and we'll just drive that back in until it's nice and flush. Got it all greased up. We'll slide it on there over that lip. Make sure it's nice and flush. Grab my hammer, get this nice and square, and just lightly tap it to make sure it's driving in nice and straight. It might be hard to see from that angle, but it's going on nice and smooth, no issues at all. Looks fantastic. And once we get so far down, you'll hear the sound change because we'll bottom out on the crankcase in itself. And then we know we have the seal mounted. You hear the difference there? No, the seal is done all the way around it. Nice. Looks and feels fantastic. All right, now guys, we're just gonna go ahead and back and reassemble this. I'm not gonna record any of that stuff. You guys saw how it came apart, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just reassemble all this, and then we'll reassemble the other side. We'll put it all together. We'll pressure test the leak down on the motor after we get all the new seals in and everything sealed back up, and we'll see what it holds. All right, guys, now we're on the right-hand side of the bike where the clutch, kickstarter, carburetor, and all that is. We're gonna wait to pull the crankcase seals and all that till a later point in time. We're gonna get this all apart and show you guys what's going on here. So first we need a 10 millimeter ratchet and wrench. Is honestly the easiest thing to use here to get these guys out. So we're gonna go ahead and take these 3 out because there is a broken one off in there. We'll pull this off with expose the carburetor, and then we'll detach the air connector back here and the kickstarter and check all the brake stuff, make sure that's in the way, and then start taking the side case off. All right, we got the side case off, the carburetor. Now we're gonna pull the clutch. The clutch pack's stuck anyways. You know what, I'm actually gonna pull this, and we also need to check on this O-ring here, which we have a new O-ring right here for this guy, which he looks awfully flat. So that could be one of the issues we're having. He is awfully flat looking there for the rotary. And then once we take this off, then we'll take the rotary valve off, take this off, take the rotary valve off. There's an O-ring behind this we'll take off, and then we'll be able to access the crank seal. All right, so we got the clutch out, the gears for the rotary valve in this thing. One thing I did find is that the valve in itself, this is the back side of it. That might be kind of hard to see here. I'll have to invest in better lighting at some point in time. That's all rust. That is literally on the back side. So basically what that's doing, that's not creating a proper seal around here. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll probably clean this up with somewhere around like some type of emery cloth, something really soft, 1,000, 2,000 grit, maybe even more. I might give a call to a couple of some old heads I know that deal with a lot of this stuff and can tell me what the proper stuff is to use on this, so we can keep it nice and smooth. Don't create any, striations or anything in it. That way it keeps a good proper seal. So the next step we're going to do, guys, we're going to go ahead and replace the crank seal here on the outside of the rotary valve cover, and then pop the one out on the other side and replace that one. And then we'll reassemble that. We're also going to take a look at the clutch. I can sit here and hear all the wave springs inside of here popping apart. Each one of these has a little spring in between the clutch pack. Every single one. I could just hear them all going pop, 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 pop. And I know for a fact this thing was stuck together really, really bad, because when I did have it partially running, and then when it died after it ran for a little bit, I did pull the clutch and put it in gear after I adjusted it properly, and it did not. It stayed in gear, so clutch wasn't separating until it was stuck together. So that's our next one. All right, guys, so we finally got the seals in from Kawasaki. Or I should say, I actually got these through Partzilla. Took an awful long time to get them in, like about 3 weeks. The shipping was just horrendous. It showed it was shipped, and then it would take forever to move to the next location from there on out. But anyways, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and take out this seal on this plate that is for the rotary valve on the right side of the motor, where all your fuel goes in, air goes in, your oil injection line and all that. We'll replace that. Basically, I'm just gonna use my bearing driver here and seal driver. I'll knock it out. Then I'll put a little grease on the new one, set it in there, and we'll press that back in. All right, so we just set this in like this, and we just, boom. There we go. Now we'll take the new one. We'll just take the new one out of the package, and we'll put a little grease around the edge here. Sorry guys, I don't know why that just cut off, but we'll take the new one here, and we'll put a little grease around the edge. That way when we put it in there, it'll slide in nice and easy. We'll make sure it's nice and square. We'll get it started, and then we'll just use the same method, but I'll flip this around and won't use the race side. I'll use the bearing driver, seal driver side, and knock that in. All right, so I just flipped this over. I'm just gonna set it right on top. I got it nice and square. We'll get it right in the center, and we'll just lightly tap it down. We don't want to drive it too hard. We want to make sure it goes in nice and smooth. We don't mar any edges up. So we'll just take it here. The camera shakes, guys. I'm sorry, you're on my wooden workbench. And we just slowly drive it down. Check it. If we're not going in super straight, kind of move it off to the side and work the other side in a little bit. Check it. Just got to go down just a smidge more till we're seated all the way here. And there we go. We got the new seal in on this side. Everything looks great. All right, guys, so we got everything back together. We got the side cases on, the clutch is in, both sides are all together, the new seals are all in. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna do a leak down test on the motor in itself. So what I got here, I got a pretty nice kit from Motion Pro. It's roughly around 300 bucks. Comes with everything you need, all the plugs for the exhaust, intakes, the gauge, the pump, all that stuff. It's a pretty nice kit. I think it was like right around $275 before taxes and shipping and all that. So, and it gives you a little instructions on how to properly do it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and plug off the exhaust up here. We'll plug off the exhaust, we'll stick our little one in the intake, secure that with some clamps, and then what we'll do, we'll pump it up to 6 pounds of pressure and see if we have any leak down. Acceptable leak down on a 2-stroke motor is roughly 1 pound per minute. Anything more than that, you know, you want to fix that. If it holds complete pressure the whole time, that's really good. That motor's going to actually run better and perform better when it does that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this all together and we'll run the pressure test on it real quick and see what the leak down is, and hopefully it's 0. All right, guys, you can see I got everything hooked up here now. I got the hose, got my gauge, so hopefully we can focus on this guy right here. What we're going to do, pump up to 6 pounds. There's 6, and we'll just sit here and we'll wait. And it's looking pretty darn good right now. I don't think it's moved maybe just a smidge. That could be me from shaking too, holding this thing here. Okay, we've lost about a half a pound. I'm gonna drop pressure and I'm gonna hit it up again. You never wanna go above 8 pounds though. All right, we're right at 6. We'll let it set there again. I got a little stopwatch running back here in the background. We're just gonna stop right here for 30 seconds. That way we don't sit here and watch this whole thing go, but everything's looking pretty good. It's got a little bit of leak down, which, I mean, I can't complain. It's gonna happen sometimes in these things. Nothing's ever perfect. All right, guys, so we got everything back together here. Turn the key on, see if we can't get this bad boy to fire off here. Choke it just a smidge. Nice. There we go. She wouldn't even idle beforehand at all. All right, guys, so I think we got this one all taken care of here. Again, if you guys got any questions about motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, give me a holler, man. I'll be happy to answer them. We'll catch you guys on the next video.